Good morning, students. Today we have to see 3.5. The lesson's name is Great Scientist. In this lesson, we have to see inspirational life story of great scientist named Michael Faraday. What is written at the starting? Great scientists are persevering and never deterred by difficulties. According to these lines, what is given here? The great scientists, they are doing whatever they want continuously and they never discourage by difficulties. Very great lines here given at the starting. First, we have to see the detailed information about Michael Faraday. Who he was? He was the great scientist. Michael Faraday is regarded as one of the most distinguished scientists and inventors of modern times. Nowadays, we are enjoying different types of devices, different types of facilities. These facilities are the gift of scientists. And among all great scientists, Michael Faraday was one of them. Who he was? He was a scientist. Scientist, the person who has done different types of practicals and studies about science. Inventors who had invented different things. Michael Faraday is very important scientist as well as inventors of modern times. And his work on electricity is still a subject of study. What was his subject? His subject was electricity. In first two lines, the writer describes that Michael Faraday is one of the most distinguished scientists and inventors of modern times. And his work specially on the subject electricity is still a subject of study. Nowadays, we are studying about Faraday's law in the form of Faraday's law. Faraday's laws means the basic law of electromagnetism discovered by Faraday. But few know his inspirational life story. But very few people they know about his inspirational life story. It is full with different types of difficulties. But only because of his courage he became great scientist in the world, which is all about courage and fighting against all odds. What is given here? Only with the help of his courage. Courage means here daring. And he fought with different types of difficulties against all odds. Means he faced different types of problems in his life. Still, he became great scientist. Now we will see his childhood. Michael Faraday was born into a poverty-stricken family in a dirty London suburb. Michael Faraday was born in a very poor family in extreme poverty. His family suffered a lot because of poverty. And where did they live? They live in a dirty London suburb. Suburb means outside area of city. He suffered from a speech defect as a child. In his childhood, he suffered a lot because of his speech defect. Speech defect means he was unable to speak clearly. Here gave the example, he would pronounce rabbit as rabbit. His pronunciation for rabbit as a rabbit. And because of that, others laughed at him. He could not even say his own name. Means he was unable to pronunciation his own name clearly. He would call himself Faraday. When someone asked him at that time, instead of Faraday, he was saying Faraday. And because of that, other children laughed at him. And other children, they teased him, they laughed at him. And teachers did not help him either. And there was no help from his teachers. No support from his teachers. And what was the result because of that? When he was 12, means at the age of 12 years, when he was 12 years old, his mother was forced to take him out of school. Maybe school authority forced his mother to take him out from the school, and by this way his mother took him out from the school, thus putting an end to his formal education. And by this way his formal education, it was stopped there at the age of 12. At 13, when he became 13 years old, what was the problem? Already we studied, he faced a lot of problems because of the condition of the family. They were in extreme poverty, and because of that he started working with a bookbinder, and he started to work as a bookbinder, binding hundreds of books during the day and staying up all night to read them. What was his daily work? His daily work was at the time of day. He was binding hundreds of books, and at the time of night he was reading those books with curiosity. Reading thus became his obsession. What was given here? Reading became his obsession, means the state of being haunted, means crazy for reading. During the day he was doing his own work, he was binding hundreds of books, and at the time of night he was reading different types of books, and by this way reading thus became his obsession. One day he came across a book on electricity. What happened one day? One day he read the book related to electricity, and he thought that this is very interesting book. And after that, what happened here? Which had been sent to his master for binding. One day someone had sent the book related to electricity to his master for binding. He started reading it, and Michael was very interested in reading. Reading became his obsession, so he read the book related to electricity and was completely hooked, and he was connected with that book. He took interest in that book. Then was his first introduction to the subject of electricity. Already we had seen at the age of 12, his mother was forced to take him out from the school, and his formal education stopped there. But when he read the book depend on electricity, related to electricity, which soon became a lifelong fascination, and after that electricity became the subject of attraction for Michael. He became fascination for this topic, and by this way, here we have studied how Michael Faraday was attracted towards the world of electricity, and he was fascinated towards electricity for his throughout the life. And by this way, here we studied about his childhood, about his condition of family, and by this way, here we want to complete here first video. Thanks.